Well, I did it, guys. I answered the question all guitar players have been trying to answer for ages. What all-in-one guitar unit is the best? Okay, so maybe it's still up for interpretation, but at least I've answered it for myself. Which one is the best for me? At least for now, in my current circumstance, and it could change in the future, but anyways. In all seriousness though, I just want to talk about the Line 6 Helix and why it's my desert island rig. To set the record straight, I'm not here to tell you that this Helix is better than your Kemper, or your Axe FX, or your Quad Cortex, or your vintage Marshall, or whatever it is you're currently playing. We're at a really cool point in guitar history where pretty much everything out there sounds really good now. I think we're past the days of shootouts.
All that trashing you just did is gone.
I don't know about you, but I've fallen down the rabbit hole of watching all kinds of what's better, my Helix, my Kemper, or my amp, and I think we're at a point now where it's really just about which one you prefer using. We know that they can all sound fantastic, and it's just about you getting the best sound out of the unit you like the best. Now, this is not a demo of the unit, and I'm not going to dive into every single feature, because realistically, there's all kinds of great videos about those out there, and that would take forever. My goal here is to share with you why I love this unit so much and get you back to guitar playing as soon as possible. So here are the 5 reasons that this is my perfect rig. This is my desert island rig, and I think this is the best rig for most guitar players out there. Before we even start talking about any of the features of the Helix or the things I really love, the first thing to talk about is actually just the whole Line 6 universe. The first kidney bean shaped pod came out in 1998. That was probably before some of you guys were even alive or even thinking about touching a guitar. So aside from their history with digital guitar units, something else that they have going for them that I think is really unique is how vast their product lineup is when it comes to the Helix world. You don't actually have to invest in the full-blown Helix to reap the benefits. Between the flagship model, the Helix LT, the HX Stomp, and even the Pod Go, there's an option for everybody out there. Let's face it, the Helix isn't a cheap unit, and honestly, there are probably more features in there than most people will ever use. When people ask me about getting into guitar modeling, the first units I suggest are either the Pod Go or the HX Stomp, depending on what they want to do. Something else I think is really valuable and unique to Line 6 is that you can purchase Helix Native if you have one of the flagship units for 75% off. Now, you might be wondering, why do I need Helix Native? It's a plugin you can insert into whatever DAW you're using, and you can actually just access all of the effects from the Helix. So all the reverbs, all the delays, all the modulations, all the amp sounds, literally everything that's in it. As a guitar player, this is fantastic because if you're recording, you can record your wet signal from the Helix, your affected sound with your effects and your amps, and you can also take a DI out before if you have the capability with your studio. If you have this DI track and you decide that you want to change your sound after the fact, all you have to do is use the DI track and put the Helix Native plugin on, and then you can dial in whatever sound you want using all of the stuff you're used to from your Helix unit. You can also get really great third-party IRs. So any IR out there that you'd use with any other device is compatible with your Line 6 Helix. Now, I know there's some controversy out there. There's a lot of people that say you have to use an IR to make it sound good and that the stock cabs don't really sound good. I think they sound fantastic. They just take more time to dial in. If that's something you like, great. But if you're like me and you prefer to just get the sound a lot faster, just grab some IRs of cabinets you really like, and all you have to do is just filter through them until you find a sound you're looking for. It's one way to up your sound quality really quickly without a whole lot of effort and for a pretty reasonable price. A lot of people who make IRs also offer some for free. Not only can you use IRs on your electric to simulate the cabinet, you can also use an IR on an acoustic instrument. People make IRs out there with specific acoustic guitars on specific mics to try and emulate that sound so it actually sounds a lot better than your piezo pickup just on its own. You could do this for any instrument you could think of. You could do this for mandolin, you could do this for fiddle, you could do this for banjo, anything like that. With a little bit of effort, you can even make your own IRs based on your own guitars and microphones at home. The presets out there for this device are fantastic, and because it's so widely used, there's so many of them available, both for free and for purchase. Through the Line 6 website on their forum, you can access a whole bunch of different presets, sometimes that they've collaborated with really great artists to make, and they're free for you. If you have friends that use the Helix, you guys can share files back and forth and see what each other's doing to inspire each other to create better and better sounds. Also, it's really easy to purchase Helix packs from your favorite artists or YouTubers. I'm even linking 2 free presets in the description down below, one for acoustic guitar and one for electric guitar. One downside I will say is I don't think the stock presets that come with the unit are really that great, at least not for the kind of music I play. That's a little bit of a downer, and I think that can be discouraging to a lot of people, so if you're one of those people who plugged into the Helix for the first time and didn't really love what you're hearing, don't fret, just go grab some free presets from the Line 6 website that other people have made, and it's going to open up all kinds of possibilities. Now, you might not think about it because the Helix is definitely more marketed for electric guitar players, but these two things, these do go together. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely dread plugging in my nice acoustics. Piezo pickups never sounded good to me. I don't really get along well with the pickups that go in here. Never really liked the microphone thing. I just haven't found a good solution for me. The Helix is the best thing that's come along for my acoustic guitar sound live, I'll tell you that much. Being able to dial in with a preamp and even using some IRs has made a huge difference in the quality of my sound. It's not perfect. It doesn't sound exactly obviously like a recorded acoustic with a mic, but it gets you way closer than just plugging directly in. You can purchase acoustic IRs, or if you have the setup at home, you can even make your own. Especially if you have some really nice acoustics and you have some nice microphones, it's pretty easy to do. If you play fiddle, if you play bass, if you want to plug a banjo in, you could even plug keys into it, and you can definitely plug vocals in as well. All of those instruments can stand to benefit from all of the really nice effects packed into the Helix. I think my favorite thing about being able to use it for acoustic guitar is that when I'm on a gig now where I have to play acoustic and electric in the same night, I don't have to have 2 separate rigs. There's enough ins and outs on the Helix that you can actually set up your acoustic and electric completely independent of each other. Something I think we forget to take into consideration when purchasing something like this is how readily available they are if something goes wrong with yours. Although manufacturing is getting better and better, and these products don't tend to break very often, no matter how well you care for it and how well it's built, these things happen.
Showing results for Long and McQueen.
Now, I don't know where you guys live. I'm in Northern Ontario, Canada. I'm in a pretty small town. It's pretty remote compared to a lot of places, and I can still go down and walk into my local music shop, and they're definitely going to have something from the Helix line on the shelf at any given time. To prove that's true, I'm going to head down to my local Long and McQueen right now. So I'm just doing a little experiment, and I'm wondering if you guys have any Helix products in stock. Like if mine happened to break, or I needed to rent one in a pinch. What do you guys have? Like Helix, Helix LT, Podgo, or HX Stomp?
Yeah, let me check. So yeah, we have some Helix LT in stock.
Nice.
We have HX Effects, HX Stomp XL.
And are those all available for rent as well?
Yeah, all for rent. We always have a bunch on hand at any
Sweet.
time.
And this is, so we're in North Bay, Ontario, Canada right now. For people who don't know where that is.
Yeah.
It's basically the middle of nowhere. You'll notice all the Helix units are nicely together on that cart. I just had Chris do that for me for filming purposes, so big thanks to him. But that's what they actually had in stock the day I just randomly chose to go down and see what was there. That means if something does happen to yours, you're likely to be able to get your hands on one the same day or really soon thereafter, so that you can just keep creating music without any interruption. If you happen to be using the Helix for any kind of gigging, this is really crucial. If it's your main device and it goes down, you need to be able to replace it with something right away. Obviously, having a backup is really great, but a lot of us can't afford to have a backup around. So even if you just have your presets saved, the day that something might happen to go wrong, at least you can just grab your presets, dump them onto a rental unit, and you'll be good to go in no time. The fact that it's an interface is also a huge plus. If you don't already have an interface, this is great because you don't need to go purchase another piece of gear. The Helix is great for recording guitar, and if you go with the full Helix or the LT, you'll also be able to record vocals through it. And if you already have an interface, then the Helix is a great solution whenever you're away from home. If you guys are anything like me, I definitely don't like to be away from the guitar for more than a day or 2 at a time, so whenever I'm leaving home, I tend to bring one with me if it's going to be any longer than that. In the past, I either just bring my interface and plug into my laptop, or just do nothing at all and just play acoustically, and I was totally okay with that, but having the Helix gives you all those wonderful sounds at your fingertips all the time. I always travel with a laptop bag, so I'm always bringing my main bag and a second one, so in this case, I just grab my Helix bag, my laptop goes in there, the Helix goes in there, and on shorter trips, I actually even just pack my clothes in that, so really the only extra thing I'm bringing is a guitar bag. A lot of the times I can get away with traveling just with my guitar bag and my Helix bag. Speaking of bags and traveling, I love to know what other guitar players put in their gig bag. If you're interested to find out what I've got in mind, click the link on the screen. As always, guys, thank you so much for your time and attention in such a noisy world, and until next time, I hope you get out there and make some music.